In the IELTS Academic Writing Task 1, using appropriate language and vocabulary is crucial for achieving a high band score. Your ability to employ precise, concise, and descriptive language demonstrates your command of the English language and your ability to effectively communicate complex information. In this module, we will explore various strategies and techniques to help you enhance your vocabulary and language skills, enabling you to produce clear, accurate, and impactful responses. Appropriate language and vocabulary play a vital role in the IELTS Academic Writing Task 1 for several reasons. 1. Clarity and precision. Using appropriate language ensures that your descriptions and observations are clear, precise, and unambiguous. This helps the reader understand the information you are conveying without any confusion or misinterpretation. 2. Accurate representation of data. Employing the right vocabulary and terminology is essential to accurately represent and describe the visual data presented in the task. Incorrect or imprecise language can lead to misrepresentation or distortion of the information. 3. Demonstration of language proficiency. Your choice of language and vocabulary is a direct reflection of your English language proficiency. Using a wide range of appropriate vocabulary and expressions showcases your command of the language and your ability to communicate effectively in an academic context. 4. Impact and persuasiveness. Appropriate language can add impact and persuasiveness to your writing. The use of descriptive and vivid vocabulary can help you convey the significance or implications of the data more effectively, leaving a lasting impression on the reader. 5. Scoring criteria. Lexical resource is one of the 4 criteria used to evaluate your response in the IELTS Academic Writing Task 1. Using appropriate language and vocabulary is essential to achieve a high score in this criterion. Demonstration of language proficiency. Your choice of language and vocabulary is a direct reflection of your English language proficiency. Using a wide range of appropriate vocabulary and expressions showcases your command of the language and your ability to communicate effectively in an academic context. 4. Impact and persuasiveness. Appropriate language can add impact and persuasiveness to your writing. The use of descriptive and vivid vocabulary can help you convey the significance or implications of the data more effectively, leaving a lasting impression on the reader. Example: consider the following 2 descriptions of the same data point. Imprecise language. The sales of electric vehicles went up a lot in the past few years. Appropriate language. Global sales of electric vehicles exhibited a steady upward trajectory, rising from 0.1 million units in 2010 to 3.2 million units by 2020, representing a significant 32-fold increase over the decade. Practical exercise. Identify any instances of imprecise or inappropriate language in the following sample response. Suggest improvements to make the language more accurate and effective. The graph shows the number of people in different cities. City A had a pretty big population that kept growing over the years. City B also saw an increase, but it was not as much as City A. City C had a small number of people at first, but then it went up a lot. City D and City E did not change much and stayed at a low level. To effectively describe and analyze visual data in the IELTS Academic Writing Task 1, you need to have a robust vocabulary at your disposal. Here are some strategies to help you expand and strengthen your vocabulary. 1. Learn vocabulary specific to data description. Familiarize yourself with words and phrases commonly used to describe trends, patterns, and relationships in visual data, such as trends: increase, decrease, fluctuate, peak, plateau, stabilize, surge, plummet, etc. Patterns: consistent, gradual, steady, erratic, sporadic, cyclical, etc. Relationships: correlate, diverge, intersect, parallel, contrast, compare, etc. 2. Study vocabulary related to different types of visual data. Understand and learn terms specific to different types of visual representations, such as line graphs, trajectory, curve, slope, trendline, projection, etc. Bar charts: bars, columns, segments, categories, variables, etc. Pie charts: slices, wedges, segments, portions, proportions, etc. Tables: rows, columns, cells, entries, categories, variables, etc. Diagrams: components, elements, stages, processes, flow, sequence, etc. 3. Explore comparative and superlative language. Use comparative and superlative adjectives and adverbs to highlight differences or similarities between data points or categories, such as comparative, higher, lower, more significant, less notable, greater, smaller, etc. Superlative, highest, lowest, most substantial, least significant, greatest, smallest, etc. 4. Utilize descriptive language and quantifiers. Employ descriptive language and quantifiers to add depth and precision to your descriptions, such as descriptive language, substantial, negligible, marginal, considerable, profound, etc. Quantifiers, significantly, slightly, moderately, dramatically, marginally, etc. 5. Consult resources and build vocabulary lists. Refer to academic vocabulary lists, thesauruses, and online resources to expand your vocabulary related to data description and analysis. Create your own vocabulary lists or flashcards for frequent review and practice. Example: descriptive language. The pie chart illustrates a stark contrast in the expenditure breakdown, with manufacturing costs accounting for a substantial 35% of the total, while marketing and administration expenses combined constituted a mere 25%. Comparative language. Although the energy sector consistently exhibited higher emissions than the transport sector throughout the period, the gap between the two narrowed significantly in the latter years as transport emissions surged. Practical exercise. Study the line graph below, which shows the global sales of electric vehicles from 2010 to 2020, with projections until 2030. Describe the main features and trends using a range of appropriate vocabulary related to data description, comparative language, and descriptive expressions. In the IELTS Academic Writing Task 1, using precise and concise language is essential for clearly and effectively communicating your observations and analysis. Precise language ensures accuracy and avoids ambiguity, while concise language helps you convey your points in a clear and direct manner. Here are some strategies to help you achieve precision and conciseness in your writing. 1. Avoid vague or ambiguous language. Use specific and concrete language to describe the visual data instead of vague or general terms. Avoid ambiguous pronouns or referencing words that lack clarity or specificity. 2. Employ precise numerical data and units. Use exact numerical values, percentages, or quantities when describing data points or trends. Always include the appropriate units of measurement, e.g. millions, percentages, degrees Celsius, for numerical data. 3. Utilize specific labels and terminology. Accurately represent labels, categories, or components mentioned in the visual data by using the exact terminology provided. Avoid substituting or paraphrasing labels, as this can lead to inaccuracies or confusion. 4. Minimize unnecessary words or phrases. Eliminate redundant or superfluous words, phrases, or repetitions that do not add value or clarity to your descriptions. Aim for concise and direct language that conveys your points effectively without unnecessary wordiness. 5. Use active voice and straightforward sentence structures. Employ active voice to make your writing more direct and impactful. Construct straightforward sentences with a clear subject, verb, and object to enhance clarity and conciseness. Example: vague language. The graph shows that sales went up a lot over time, and they are expected to keep increasing in the future. Precise and concise language. The line graph depicts a substantial upward trajectory in global electric vehicle sales, rising from 0.1 million units in 2010 to 3.2 million units by 2020, with projections indicating a further surge to 26.8 million units by 2030. Practical exercise. Revise the following sample response to improve precision and conciseness, removing any vague or ambiguous language and incorporating specific numerical data and labels where appropriate. The chart illustrates the ownership of various electronic goods by households in a European nation between 1990 and 2010. It can be seen that the possession of most devices increased significantly during this period, with the exception of video recorders, which declined after peaking in 2000. The ownership of computers and mobile phones saw a dramatic rise, while DVD players also became quite popular towards the end of the period.